Welcome to Future Sanctuary. Our vision is to inspire, educate, and equip people to build lives of freedom, purpose, and self-sufficiency by blending sustainable living, modern technology, and timeless values. If that sounds like a bit of you, like and subscribe or drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. The morning sun rises sharp and unrelenting, spilling over the ridge with a heat that feels immediate, almost aggressive. The air itself seems to shimmer, and even before breakfast, the garden shows signs of strain. Lettuce leaves sag, cucumbers droop, and the soil between rows carries a dry, cracked look. This is the sort of day where action must be taken early, before the sun climbs higher, before the heat presses its full weight down upon tender plants. Will steps out with purpose, a roll of pale shade cloth balanced across his shoulder. His boots press into dry earth, each step a reminder of how quickly water evaporates in this heat. Lizzie follows close, carrying the watering can, her eyes scanning the leaves with a mother's concern. Behind them, Ollie and Grace drag bundles of straw mulch, the loose fibers leaving trails across the grass. Together, the family moves with a quiet urgency, the kind born of experience, knowing the difference between resilience and ruin can come down to a single morning's effort. The work begins with shade. Will constructs simple frames from salvaged timber and garden stakes, driving them into the earth with measured strikes. Over these skeletons, he stretches shade cloth, light-colored, breathable fabric that cuts the sun's intensity without choking airflow. As it is unfurled, the transformation is immediate. Light softens, shadows deepen, and the once wilting greens beneath lift slightly, like weary travelers finding respite beneath a canopy. Shade is only half the story. Mulch must follow, a double layer of protection. Lizzie kneels to spread straw thick between the rows, her eyes careful, deliberate. The children follow suit, scattering handfuls across the soil, learning by imitation. Mulch does more than tidy the garden. It shields the earth from direct sun, locks in moisture, slows the rush of evaporation. It echoes the forest floor where God's design layers fallen leaves and branches to preserve life below. Next comes water. Not a shallow sprinkle that disappears in minutes, but a deep, steady soak. Will adjusts the irrigation lines while Lizzie waters at the roots, ensuring each plant drinks fully. Timing matters. Early morning is best, when cool air allows the soil to absorb before the heat can draw it away. Evening works too, but morning carries an added blessing. Plants strengthened at dawn face the day with reserves already stored. By midday, the rhythm shifts. A breeze stirs faintly through the orchard, rattling the leaves with a sound like whispered relief. Ducks waddle into the shade, dabbling their bills in the shallows of the pond before retreating to the cool underbrush. The garden, once sagging, now stands resilient. Leaves perked, soil darkened with moisture, rows blanketed against the sun's relentless glare. It is here, in the contrast, that the lesson becomes clear. Stewardship is not only about planting or harvesting, but about guarding what has been entrusted. Protecting the tender shoots is as vital as sowing the seed itself. To ignore the signs of stress, to let heat undo months of labor would be wasteful, careless. To intervene with shade, mulch, and water is to honor both the gift and the work already invested. This principle of stewardship stretches beyond the soil. Will often reflects that the same discipline applies to resources, finances, even relationships. Stress left unchecked can wither what should have thrived. But shade, care, and wise timing, these bring resilience. It is a truth the children absorb not through lecture but through practice, their small hands scattering mulch as naturally as play. Legacy is built this way, through example, through action, through the quiet embedding of values into daily life. Design too plays its part. Will favors modular structures, simple frames that can be assembled quickly, adjusted for height, dismantled when seasons change. It is efficiency paired with foresight, a system that adapts rather than locks into rigidity. Light-colored shade cloth reflects heat, not absorbs it, a detail that turns survival into flourishing. These choices are small, but their impact compounds, the difference between gardens that limp through summer and those that thrive in spite of it. As with the pantry, modern tools quietly support the homestead. Where Lizzie logs jars with Notion AI, today's work will flow into their broader system. At day's end, Will load a short note into their high-level dashboard, the very platform that powers Future Sanctuary's business engine. The episode itself, this story of shade and shelter, will become a free digital guide, heat-proofing your summer garden. High Level captures those who download it, gently nurturing them with automated emails, pointing them toward CAD frame designs, deeper guides, or consulting offers. The garden benefits from shade and water, but the family benefits from automation. Without it, their evenings might vanish into managing spreadsheets, tracking leads, writing follow-up emails. With it, the system runs silently, turning one episode into a funnel that supports their livelihood. This too is stewardship, not of plants, but of time. Freeing hours from busy work means more time spent here under the sun, with hands in the soil and children at their side. By late afternoon, the worst of the heat has passed. The cloth shifts slightly in the breeze, casting dappled patterns across the leaves. The soil beneath remains cool, mulch damp with held moisture. The garden breathes easy once again. Will leans on the hoe, surveying the rows with a craftsman's satisfaction. Lizzie wipes her brow, watching Grace place one last armful of straw with determined care. Ollie chases a duck, laughter cutting through the warm air. Evening arrives, cooler now, the sky painted with the long colors of summer's descent. Supper is light, salads crisp from the garden, bread torn fresh from the oven, a jar of beans opened from yesterday's canning. Around the table, the family speaks of the day's work, of what was protected and what remains to be done. There is a calm pride in knowing the crops will endure tomorrow's heat, that systems set in place today will carry them forward. In the quiet that follows, Will reflects aloud, it's not just about saving the plants, it's about learning how to guard what matters. Our food, our time, even one another. Lizzie nods, her approval resting on Grace's shoulder. The children listen without reply, their eyes heavy with sleep, yet some part of the lesson settles deep within. The rhythm of homesteading is never separate from the rhythm of faith. To shade and shelter is to echo God's own provision, covering, protecting, ensuring life continues even under the fiercest sun. It is a daily parable, lived out in straw and cloth, a reminder that resilience is never an accident, but always the fruit of intentional care. As the day closes, the invitation extends beyond the homestead. We've put together a free guide called Heat-Proofing Your Summer Garden, the narration offers. You'll find the link below. It's part of the same system we use to share resources with our community. Behind that simple offer lies the unseen architecture of High Level, capturing interest, nurturing relationships, building sustainability not just for crops, but for the family business itself. Tomorrow's work awaits, shifting from the canopy above to the soil below. Shade and shelter may guard against today's heat, but tomorrow we turn our attention to the foundation itself, compost, mulch, and the balance of soil health. For in the end, resilience above ground begins with what lies beneath.